So now we'll talk about a tool that helps us apply agile in day-to-day life. Okay, maybe in our projects, maybe it can also help you as a to-do list tracking tool for your day-to-day life. Okay, so let me quickly bring up the presentation. Okay, just a second. I think the screen is now visible. So we'll go slide by slide. We'll try to understand what Jira is, how it looks, and I'll not go, you know, deep at all. I'll just try to give you an introduction to what Jira is and how we can use it for betterment. And eventually, we will look at Jira and we'll try to work out some things. And this tool we'll practically use on our day 3 of project simulation. Okay. So let me quickly move on to the next slide. Now let's understand Jira. What is Jira? Can anyone answer? I mean, it's there on the screen probably, but so far we have heard Jira a lot. I mean, even in our sessions at college, we have heard about Jira. We have given different workshops. We have hosted different workshops for our students. So, what is Jira? Can anybody answer?
It keeps a track of your tasks and what needs to be done.
Thanks, Sririja. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's one of its definite use. So it keeps a track of your work, and it helps you to collaborate better with your teammates. So everybody knows what everybody is doing. That way, if even something goes missing, let's say I'm on leave, anybody from my team can take up my work and make sure it is completed. So that's why Agile works, right? It doesn't matter if someone is not available; the work should go on, and for that, everybody should know about every task and every issue, everything that's going on in the project. So Jira enables that. Jira is a common platform that the entire team uses to get the information about the tasks that are being worked upon by that team. It also helps you to keep a track of it, like with what's in progress, what's yet to be started, what's completed, and that way you can maintain your velocity or your speed of work, right? So Jira is a really powerful tool. Why I'm emphasizing specifically on Jira here is Jira is one of the widely used tool here. I mean, there are other tools like Trello, Ticketmaster, etc. But Jira is one tool which is more flexible and which is more integratable with a lot of other tools, and it is widely used. That's why we are just concentrating on Jira as of this session. So let's see what are the key concepts of Jira, or what are the key elements. So there is something called project, right? We create a project in Jira, and then we work on it. Let me see if I can pull up my screen. I hope my screen is visible with respect to Jira there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you look at this entire board, this is the Jira Cloud board. Okay, Jira has got basically 3 versions. One is cloud, one is desktop, and one is enterprise version. So most of the companies are using either enterprise or cloud. Desktop version is very rarely used, like because it needs an installation and everything, maintenance, too much maintenance. Now that's that. So with Jira, when I say project, that means what exactly project you are working on should be available here, should be created here. Let's say I have named my project as UDYAM. So UDYAM is going to be my project, and I will have a backlog. Like Shireesh was talking about a project backlog. It's nothing but the kind of entire list of tasks or work that we are supposed to work on. Okay. If we move back to this slide, it will talk about issues. When I say issue, it doesn't have to be something negative. Issues is a basic category given in Jira for anything that you create. May it be tasks, may it be bugs, may it be user stories, or may it be tickets. Okay, so everything at all, we are saying it as an issue, Jira issue. Now to shorten that as a technical jargon or as a management jargon, we say Jira. Like, have you created your Jira? Have you closed your Jira? So that's a regular jargon that we take forward. Now, if I go back to the screen, so if I click on create, that will create my issue. or create my Jira under, UDYAM project. What is the issue type that I want to create? Is it a story? Is it a bug? Is it a task? I want to create, and its status will automatically go to do. Okay, so let's say if I create a task, right? So I'll write, as a developer, I would like to check on the app security protocol version. This is my task. I just have to check what is the version of the security protocol that we are using, right? I'll mention that same in the description. It should be automatically assigned to me, right? If I have a team, I can click here and I can just write their names. Let's say we have Akshita here. Okay, so if I click Akshita, it should give me, if Akshita is added in the team, her name will pop up. I can assign it directly to Akshita. So likewise, I can assign it to Anusha, Srinija, Sahiti, Shireesh, Syed, anybody at all, right? So you assign it to a person, then you define like which is it a, if this task has to go as a parent, it has to be attached to a parent Jira, right? There are labels that you can create, like what you want to categorize it as. Different fields are here to fill it up. Which sprint it will belong to. I have not created a specific sprint to be loud here, but let's say I say Scrum Sprint 1. So this is something I'm trying to create. Any story points, like what would I like to give it a size or something, like how much effort we are going to put on it. I can put a number there. So all these things I have to fill all these things and just click on create. It will create a task for me, and I can see that task as Scrum 1, which is part of Sprint 1, right? So this is how we create an issue. So you can create different kinds of issues. It was just a task I created. You can even create a story, a bug, or an epic, right? An epic is nothing but it's a larger size of task. If you look at let's say college, right? College will be an epic. Different departments will be stories. Okay, they are part of that entire big epic, big family. So epic is something which is a very big requirement, which is broken into smaller stories, and stories is further broken into tasks. Now bugs are something, obviously, now this is something, something which fails, bugs or tickets or defects. If I define anything as defect or a bug, it is something that is failing, which is not working according to the expectation. You can log a bug as well, right? So I would ask the team to create a trial account and start working on it whenever you find some time in coming days, so that you get a hands-on over cloud, Jira cloud. Okay, now coming back to the presentation, we'll look into what is working with issues, or creating issues, issue statuses, transitions, and attachments and comments. So we have just now created an issue. Let me open this. Okay, it says, let me come back to Scrum 1. Let me open the issue, right? So what's the current status of this issue? It says it is in to do. Now we would really like to move it into a different status, like in progress, right? If it is in progress, if I look at the timeline, I can see that, where it is. Or maybe on the board, if I go on the board, I'll see something in progress. So if I create this board, if I start the sprint, once I start the sprint, I'll start seeing everything on the board. So every day, as a status call or as a Scrum call, people will sit together and look at the Scrum board, like how many issues or how many Jiras are in to do, how many Jiras are in progress, and how much is done, and that way they will understand what to pick next. So this is entirely a self-governing team or self-sustaining team. That is where sustainability is driven with help of Jira. Okay, so if I open, if I go back to the issue, that is this task, I can always add a comment. Okay, I can always add a comment. In progress, checking versions. I can save. I can also attach things here. Okay, if I want to put an attachment, you know, I can just drag and drop something. I can always drag and drop something to it. Let's say if I drop something, just a moment. Let's say I take a file and I drop it. Okay, so that gets attached to the Jira. So this is as easy as drag and drop. Things are as easy as drag and drop with Jira. Okay? That's why people tend to use Jira a lot. Okay, that is where it helps us a lot. Now, moving back, moving back to our presentation. Now, boards and filters. Okay, so there are different kinds of boards depending on the type of project. It can be Scrum board is what we have seen. There is a Kanban board which looks similar, but the output or the work is different. Okay, so in Scrum board we talk about let me come back. In Scrum board we talk about these swim lanes. We call it as swim lanes. Okay, these are swim lanes, different lanes. So Kanban board as well has these lanes, but there is a different way of working around it. Scrum board works better for development. Kanban board works better for ticketing or application maintenance kind of projects. Okay. Filters. If you talk about filters, there are filters wherein you can, let's say you can create a filter for yourself, like what kind of issues you would like to see. For example, um, I would like to see something like only something that is assigned to me. Okay, let's say current user. I only want to see what is assigned to me. The moment I click on it, there is only one task right now, one Jira right now, so it comes here. These are quick filters that are always helpful to us. Let's say if I say project is equal to Scrum or UDYAM. So that way, it will give us an input where we can, search a specific issue or a type of issue. Like right now, I've created only task, but what if I have more issues in the field, right? So that way, I can filter out different kinds of issues with different assigned to different users, and I can just play around it so as to understand, so as to get my data to understand, like, let's say if Saiti is working on a certain list of tasks, right? So I want to understand what Saiti is working with, what she has completed, and what she's about to pick up. So that way, I'll just filter with her name and what all are the Jiras that she's working with, and that way I'll understand. So filters are always helpful to us to get the customized data or customized um, understanding of the work. Okay, I'll move ahead with the presentation. So boards and filters. That's just a visual presentation. Let's move on to basic Jira navigation. So whenever, as I just showed you initially, whenever you go to your Jira board, you'll always see, whenever you open a project, you'll always see these things. There is a summary, timeline, backlog, forum, goals, right? Then there is a development pipeline where you have GitHub and other coding platforms which will integrate with Jira, and they will help us to work further with deploying the code, right? And that is recorded for every Jira. So this is the basic view of how Jira opens. We have dashboards. If we create any dashboards are also helpful for insights, for analytics. Filters I've shown teams. If there are different teams in the same project, if there are different teams, we can create teams and we can work with them. Is there any plan which I have created I can work with? Are there any apps that I want to integrate? Right, Slack is a chatting app, X-ray is for testing, Figma is for designing web pages, right? So all these I can integrate with Jira so that within Jira I can access those things and look at them. So Jira is very much integratable, as I've said. It's very flexible, right? So let me move ahead with the presentation. All right. I think with this, we have just gone through a basic scanning of what Jira looks like. And with this, the floor is open for questions. So I would really call in people for any questions if they have. Right? Yeah. Do you have any doubts? Anybody, any questions around Jira? I know I've just touched this topic and I have been really superficial about it, because until unless you dive into Jira and just explore, you'll not understand. Just I wanted to give you a glimpse how Jira works. So, yeah. Anyone has any doubts?
Hello, am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes, Srini, you were audible. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've mentioned that Jira is widely used, but what would you suggest for beginners, like to get a hang of, tracking their task, and which interface would be more easier for beginners to use?
Okay, you are trying to ask. I'm just trying to understand your question. You are trying to say which tool is easier to understand with respect to their look and feel and interface. Is it?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Okay. See, even if you start with other tools, right, they will have a similar kind of structure. I would say if you start with Jira, which is widely used, so probably any company you join, it's highly probable that they're using Jira. That is one. Second thing, the structure of the screen, the board setup and all those swim lanes and everything, that is similar in other applications as well. So if you learn Jira, then it will be, even though if there any company or any project is using a different tool, it will still be easier for you to work with them, because the interface is quite similar, because it's serving the similar kind of purpose, right? So most of the interfaces are same. So that's where I will say Jira is much easier to understand. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm seeing common people asking questions. What about others? I think we'll have better understanding when we are sitting together and writing a small slip test, right? So, okay, I see Rimsha. Yeah, Rimsha, please.
Okay, so my question is that what about the security year? Because let's say when we are talking about projects or something which is confidential in workplaces, so if I put some basic information as well, in the summary, just let's say I'm the team lead, so I have to assign someone something and I don't have time to have the call, so I just put the summary just briefly and the other person also understands. But then what about the security? Like, is the data, I mean, can I rely on it completely that the data is not going to be misused? Because we know that if we use other tools, maybe anything XYZ, if we use, even if we are using Google engines or Google services, there are a lot of risk of the data being misused. So what about that?
Okay. So you are talking about the risk of losing data, or someone looking into the Jiras, different Jiras that we have created, and then understanding what our project is, right? So let
Yes.
me go back to the yeah. Let me go back to the interface. See, when I say, when I clicked on your work, or let's say when I clicked on projects, or let's say I just simply went on a Jira website. What do you see on the top? Do you see this specific URL, right?
Yes.
So, so every account will have a separate URL. Now, I am saying UDYAM, but that is, let's say if I work for TCS, right? If TCS has their own Jira Enterprise version, it will be known as tcs.atlassian.net or tcs.jira.com. Okay, and tcs.jira.com, you know that obviously no one else outside the enterprise can ever log in. Okay, even if I go and try to reach that, it will say you're not authorized. That is one check. Second thing, let's say I have access, but my intentions are not good, right? So now the second check is like, what are the projects that I have access to? Now within Udyam 25, I can have 10 projects, but me as a user, as a Jira user, the Jira administrator will give me access only to those projects that I am supposed to work, or I'm tagged to, or I'm part of. Let's say I'm part of a specific software development team. known as UDYAM, I'll be part of this UDYAM project. If I'm part of something else called SPECANCIENS, then they will assign me SPECANCIENS project, right? You cannot be part of two projects at a time or three projects at a time, right, Rimsha?
Right.
So in that sense, you will be assigned to the project that you are working with, and that way, even though you have access to the enterprise level, you will not have access to the individual projects until unless given to you otherwise. Okay, that is second level of check. Now third level of check is apart from administrator or maybe the scrum master or the project manager who is very much senior in the leadership. Apart from these key people, delete access will not be given to anyone, right? So someone thinks of vandalizing your data, coming in and deleting some things around, they cannot.
Okay.
As of this project or as of this Jira account, I am the administrator, so I can maybe delete, right? Let's say if I go to this and I plan to delete actions. Oh, so it's a lot of things that it's telling me. Okay, fine. I come here and if I click on delete, I'll click on delete. It is again asking me to delete, and now it will be deleted. There is nothing called Scrum 1 anymore. If I come back here on UDYAM board and if I look at the backlog, there should be nothing because I have deleted that. Because I'm the admin, I'll have access. But if I give access, if I add a user, right? If I go to backlog, there should be nothing. It says in progress. I will refresh. So now if I give access to someone, right? If I give access to you
Mm-hmm.
and if I ask you, right, to create something, but you will not have delete access until and otherwise as an admin I give it to you. So these are different kinds of checks, security checks in Jira, wherein we safeguard the data. Now you have access to the project, you have access to the Jira, and you really tend to vandalize something, then no one can stop you. And that's a basic thing. But of course,
Right.
Jira has its own protocol. You can sometimes there is something called export option or import work. You can even import bulk things or bulk stories within Jira. So all these options are also not given to a lot of people. They're only supposed to work on what's assigned to them, update the comments, attach the files, and just go out. That's it. Right? That's how it is. It's use basis access. It's not
Right.
an entire group level access. Okay,
Right. Thank you.
helps.
Yes, definitely.